So again, this is Tim Caldall. He is the Director of University Relations for the University of Nebraska at Omaha. What's a little bit of your background? You've worked at several other, or a couple other places.
I was working for Tom O'Connor over at UNMC, kind of the Dean of Public Relations guys in town. Everything that I do basically rolls from what I learned from Tom. Was at the Med Center, Media Relations for 3-4 years. Went to work for Allegiant Health. They hired me to kind of duplicate what was going on over at UNMC as far as media relations stuff. Was at Allegiant for about 6 years, and I've been at UNO for 7. I came up on the media relations side. I ended up becoming the director of university relations at that point. To this day, what I learned from Tom O'Connor still holds true, is that having your clips is evidence of what goes on and what you can do. UNO is an institution that has about 15,000 students. It's a different place than it was when I was an undergrad. We've got about 12 to 15% of our campus is living in residence in student housing, dorms. The goal longer term, well, not terribly longer term, but in the not too terribly 10 to 15 year time frame, is to get about 20% of campus living in residence, which means more student housing. We've got some that is being built currently. And then move on to a campus population of potentially 20 to 25,000, which would be really, really interesting. Providing things, evidence to my chancellor, to my deans, to faculty members about what goes on is important. And having the clips, the ability to, particularly with the database, call up information 1, 2, 3 has been really, really, really very, very helpful. And in kind of preparing for this, Todd asked me, what's an example of that? And this comes right from last month, actually. We had a major announcement with our College of Public Affairs and Community Service and Arts and Sciences, project called the Transformation Project, taking place with the Correction Center. Major project, was funded exclusively by a donor, a very well-connected, very wealthy donor, a gentleman named John Morgan out of Minneapolis. He runs Windmark Corporation, Plato's Closet, Play Against Sports, stuff like that. So he had funded this project to sort of bring instructions into jails with the idea that we do this as a pilot that could potentially roll on to other institutions and maybe go national. He's very connected politically. Rahm Emanuel, Democratic power circles in the business community. He was in town for the Berkshire meeting. Knows Susie Buffett really well, and very, very, very focused in on education. So we have the event, and that goes really well, and everything's all good to go. And after the fact, the chancellor said to me, we need to get his coverage to Mr. Morgan. No problem. Ordered up the DVD from you guys for press coverage, which was really, really good stuff from a couple of the TV stations. And then I was a couple, 3 weeks ultimately when the request came through, went on the database, did the search, and I knew about the stuff that was in the World Herald, both editorially, sort of preview story. They did 2 stories, sort of afternoon edition, and then a larger feature the next morning. Didn't know about the outstate stuff, and that was all sitting there. And instead of shipping up a bunch of paper or a bunch of clips or a bunch of Xerox copies of this, that, and the other thing, put it together as a quick PDF and got Mr. Morgan's direct email, and 1, 2, 3, and away it goes, and it's clean and it's efficient, and it was appreciated. That's just good stuff. That's using technology and using it really, really well. Somebody has a request for me, I go into the database and fire it up and send it off, and there it is for them in one place, one time. I try not to tell people about it too much because I think I'd probably be fulfilling a lot of requests. But it's good stuff, and I appreciate what you guys are doing down here. This relationship has been going on for years and years and years. And I know that when I call down here, stuff gets done. And I appreciate that.
I'd just like to thank Tim Caldall. for being the first in our series of client insight interviews. We hope to do 5 more of these and gain more insight from our clients on how they're using our services and what more we might be able to help them with to help them do their job more effectively. So thanks to Tim.